Good day, folks. Alfie Venti here once again of Venti Pain Relief Clinic and VPRC.ca. I'm hoping you're having a terrific day. In this video, I'm going to talk about a shoe or a sneaker by Birkenstock called the Bend Sneakers. It's kind of a different video that I normally do. It's different from the norm. But this is something that I felt was, you know what, this might be a good thing to do because I was looking for a type of shoe that would fit my needs as a therapist. So I decided, you know what, let's give these a try. I bought a pair, and I found some things with it that I think you might be interested in terms of like my own feedback. There's actually two angles I'm looking at this. The first angle is, as a therapist doing my job, is this shoe a good fit for me for what I do? And then secondly, as a therapist also, but in the sense of looking at maybe a potential patient or somebody that works in the financial district that may have hip, lower back, feet, knee issues, and they may need a certain type of footwear, that could fit both that and also being in the financial district. So, in terms of the background, there was a particular shoe I was looking for. So, for myself, I do a lot of standing and pushing off when I'm doing my techniques. I need footwear that can enhance or maintain energy levels for my profession, potential preventive injury measure. Our business is in the financial district. You can see the arrow there that's pointing to First Canadian Place. First Canadian Place is that big, tall building beside the CN Tower. When you see pictures or videos of the Toronto skyline, that's where we are located. And if you don't know the financial district, and I'm sure many places that have like these tall towers and have offices and have very, very hard surfaces, marble, granite, and over time it can impact your feet, ankles, knees, hips, lower back if you're not wearing the proper footwear. The other thing too about the financial district and in areas such as this where there's a lot of offices, there's also a certain level of professional attire. Mind you, having said that, on Fridays we tend to dress down, but overall there is a certain level of attire that is professional and what's looked at in terms of being in the financial district. So in terms of the measures, these are all subjective. These are my measures. This is how I feel. There's 8 things we're going to look at. Overall comfort during the day, style, value, level of fatigue after a day, force translation, such as pushing off from the floor. That has more to do with my job, probably less to do with the average person that's not a massage therapist. Does it absorb forces also, adjustment period, and the overall grade that I give it. So let's go on. So Birkenstock, sort of giving you a company background here. Birkenstock Holding PLC, this is AI generated, of course. It's a German shoe manufacturer known for its sandals and other shoes, notable for contoured cork footbeds. Soles. So one of the things that I hear about Birkenstock is how comfortable they are, and in fact, a number of massage therapists wear Birkenstocks. I know a number of my teachers when I was in school, they wore Birkenstocks, and they felt it was, very comfortable for them when they were working. Now it's funny because I used to think Birkenstocks looked kind of weird, wearing sandals and stuff like that. But then I think I have to admit that, as I wore these things, as I tried it on, I started to realize, there is something to these Birkenstocks. And the other funny thing is that I didn't know that they were sneakers until I saw them in the store. I was walking around and go, hey, let's check out these shoes. Oh, they're Birkenstocks. I didn't realize it. And that's when it clicked that maybe this might be something that I could wear that can actually help me in terms of like what I do throughout the day. So they're known for their cork footbeds and soles. What's the property of cork? What are the properties? So this is from AI. Comfort and ergonomics, moldability, shock absorption, and lightweight density. So that's important, especially if you need something that's more form-fitting and you need something where you're walking on a lot of hard surfaces. You need the shock absorption and the lightweight density. It also has health and hygiene properties, antimicrobial and antibacterial, moisture regulation, thermal regulation also. It's also very sustainable, so it's a great shoe for the environment, renewable sourcing, biodegradable, and it's very resilient. So those are the properties of cork. There's actually a number of other shoe companies that use cork as part of their engineering. And as I mentioned, Birkenstock is the company where they're very well known for their design using cork. So let's move on for a second here. Oops, hang on here. So the engineering of the shoe. This is just kind of like a short summary of like the shoe. So you can see here the arrows. There's a cork footbed that I'm pointing to, and it's got high quality, soft, natural leather. It's actually a leather shoe. So that's great in regards to comfort. When you're moving around, it's not very stiff. It's actually a soft, natural leather, which is very comfortable. Because as many of you guys know, who work in offices or have to dress up wearing dress shoes, sometimes those dress shoes, the leather, it takes a while for it to become more bendable. It's quite uncomfortable for a while before that leather becomes more mobile. It also has rubber soles, so the rubber soles help to transfer natural forces and friction force, which I need. So it's not just me pushing off with my arms or my elbow, my hands, or whatever it is. I'm actually pushing off with my lower extremities, and if I don't have enough friction, I slip and I lose force. So this is an important part of what I do, an important part of the shoe when I'm working on people. It also has a wide toe box. You can see there by the arrow, the wide toe box here. For myself, I do have, I'm pretty wide at the front of my feet. I'm sure many of you guys are that way. You might need a wide shoe. This one is very comfortable in regards to the way my feet fit in them. I've had shoes where they're fairly thin and it actually hurts after a while when you're walking around. This one has a very decent wide toe box. So now let's talk about the grades. Again, this is subjective. I'm sure many of you guys that have worn Birkenstocks, will grade it differently in regards to their own experience. But this is what I've found. This is just for myself, and it might be helpful for potentially people that have issues with their feet, knees, again, like the hips. If they're working on hard surfaces, if they're walking on hard surfaces throughout the day, such as granite or marble, as I mentioned in the financial district, the buildings are basically hard surfaces. Overall comfort throughout the day, I give this a B. Overall, walking around, it felt great. I didn't really have too much of an issue with it. In fact, I never even thought about it. Some shoes that I've worn, I'm constantly thinking about my feet, how uncomfortable it is when I'm walking. So I give this a grade B. Overall style, it's a B-. That's me posing right there with the Birkenstock sneakers. And in regards to overall style, this is in relation to the financial district, working in an office space. For myself, I'm more kind of business casual. I need to have, wear that I can move around in. So I don't wear a jacket or anything like that or a tie. But I do, for the most part, dress in a more professional manner there. So overall style, B-. And the reason why I give it a B- is that I mentioned the toe box and how comfortable my feet are. But to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of how it kind of splayed out. But that's just a style thing. It's not really a huge thing, but it is something that people will notice for sure, guaranteed. Price versus value. Now, I give this an A. I went to Softmock where I bought the shoe, and I have to say that like it was $200, about $200, $200 Canadian. And from my perspective, I think it was worth it, worth the price for what it had to offer for myself. It has made a difference in terms of the way that I do my work and the way I feel overall. So value for sure. $200 for some it might be a bit costlier, but I think that it's a great investment. You got to look at this as an investment. I give it an A. Level of fatigue. So level of fatigue, this is like throughout the day and also after my work. And I've got to say that I've had different shoes that I've worn. And honestly, I've felt worn out with the Birkenstock sneaker. Like I've felt pretty good after a day's work. If I'm doing 5 or 6 treatments a day, that can be pretty exhausting. I've been at this for 25 plus years. So these kind of things do make a difference. So you have to be aware. I have to be aware of certain things that I have to do, little things that can help me throughout the day. And I've got to say that it's been pretty good in regards to level of fatigue. In fact, I feel like I can work out most days after like a hard day's work. So that's an A. I give that an A. Force translation grip. So, the friction of these rubber soles, I mentioned part of the engineering is the rubber soles. I can easily push off with these shoes to perform my technique. So I'm more efficient in regards to energy transfer. I don't feel that I'm slipping when I'm doing certain techniques. If you're not getting enough friction with these shoes, if you're not translating well, you're gonna be inefficient. You're gonna feel even more tired. But what I want more efficiency, and those soles are great in terms of translating grip. So I give that a B minus. In terms of shock absorption, it's very good in terms of shock. I feel a lot less discomfort with my ankles, knees, hips, lower back. I have to say that, over time, being a massage therapist for 25 years or so, and, working out and doing all these other activities, you're going to have some issues potentially with your knees and all these other joints. And I found that this was very helpful in regards to the shock absorption for, preventing more pain in those areas. I give that an A. Adjustment period. Okay, so this is kind of one of the things that is important to note, because the feedback I've gotten, and also from my experience, is that it is uncomfortable for the first few weeks. Now, talking to certain people that have worn Birkenstocks, they say it's about a 2-week time frame for the cork to adjust to your feet, or your feet to adjust to the cork. For myself, it actually took a little longer, about maybe a month or so. But after the month, it was less so uncomfortable, and I was more comfortable in those shoes. So with these shoes, you've got to be a bit patient with them. It's not an instantaneous thing where you feel comfortable or you feel good, because honestly, like some people have said, like it was painful for the first couple of weeks, and then it got better. So you've got to be patient with it. For myself, I give it a C. Some people will probably give it a B, maybe even an A, depending on how quickly they adjusted. I adjusted fairly slow to it, but once that adjustment period ended, like I really felt the comfort of the shoe. Overall grade. So I give this Birkenstock sneaker, the Birkenstock Bend sneaker, a B plus. And the only reason why I didn't give it an A was that that toe box, the wide toe box, was kind of one of those things where it's like, well, you kind of notice it. It might bother you a little bit. It's kind of bothers me a little bit. It may not bother some, but for myself, it did. But that is part of the Birkenstock brand, the way it looks. So you look at it, the sandals. For myself, I had to look at it from the perspective of, balancing out like comfort, performance versus style. So this one, I give a B plus. And once again, there could be other people that'll give it an A, but I give this a B plus. And remember, with Birkenstock, they're very well known for their sandals. They're not as well known for their sneakers yet, but I've got a feeling, I do have a strong feeling that there's going to be more and more people that'll be wearing these sneakers because it is quite appropriate wear for, business casual, working in the financial district, working in an office space, especially if you have issues with your joints and you need something that can kind of manage it. It's not a cure by any means, but like again, like you're looking at doing rehab exercises, going to your massage appointments, chiropractic, physio, whatever it is. But this can help manage some of the discomfort, I believe, as a therapist. So there you go, folks. That's my take, my overall review as a massage therapist for the Birkenstock Bend Sneaker. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and pass this on to those that you feel this might be helpful for. We want to thank you in advance. Follow us on social media. You can contact us at 416-644-8894. That's our number at our office in the Financial District, King and Bay, First Canadian Place. You can also email us at admin@ventepainrelief.com. Have yourself a great day. This is Alfie Vente of Vente Pain Relief Clinic and VPRC.ca. See you later, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.